Good morning and welcome. I'm James Curran, Chief Executive of the Scottish Environmnet Protection Agency, and it's a real pleasure but also a real privilege to welcome everyone to this conference, Scotland's Environment Web Conference, Understanding the State of the Environment. Looking down the delegate list, there's a quite extraordinary cross-section of people who've joined us here in Edinburgh for this event. There's folk from government agencies, governments themselves, policymakers. There are people from industry and business, the third sector, universities, researchers, scientists, and of course many individuals as well. To me, that really just underlines that the environment and the understanding of the environment is essential for every one of us, and it affects every aspect of our lives. It's increasingly important to understand the environment, and it is increasingly important that every single one of us understands the environment. So there's a great turnout in the room here today in Edinburgh, but we're also joined by around about 1,000 live web stream users across the planet, and I'd like to extend a particularly special and warm welcome to people right around the globe. Many, I must say, are of course attracted to this conference for the privilege of hearing directly from Paul McAlevey and Cathy Maguire about the European State and Outlook report, which was released just on the 4th of March. That's a masterly report, if you've managed to read it, or at least the executive summary. It's a masterly report, I believe, spanning issues from the global right down to the regional. And for me, it certainly raises some quite deep concerns about the health of our life support systems due to numerous factors: population increase, natural resource depletion, and perhaps our adherence to traditional business models and business systems. But here in Scotland as well, I think we've had a remarkable collaborative, cross-boundary, cross-organisation and cross-disciplinary effort to create the State of Scotland's Environment Report, which is hosted, of course, on Scotland's Environment Web. And we'll be hearing from Nathan Critchlow-Wotton later on a little bit more detail about what that report is telling us about Scotland. But that report is just one example, I think, of the co-ownership concept that underlies Scotland's Environment Web. That is co-ownership of environmental problems and co-delivery of solutions to those problems. That's perhaps essential in these tough economic times, but also essential, I believe, for seeking out and delivering multiple benefits. And Joe Muse will be telling us a little bit more about that kind of approach later on in the conference. So, thank you from me, and I believe thank you from the people of Scotland for the many partners that have contributed and support Scotland's Environment Web. Partners who are sharing expertise, who are sharing data, who are sharing information, but most importantly of all, sharing the evidence that allows for better decision making. And of course, I'd like to thank the European Life Programme. This is the EU financial instrument that supports environmental, nature conservation and climate action projects as European demonstrators. It provides match funding, and has done for some years now, for the idea that we had back in 2010 for Scotland's Environment Web. That idea is at heart for an open data discovery portal for everything related to the environment. And I'm very pleased to say that Sepa has just agreed to continue supporting the project, to continue supporting Scotland's Environment Web beyond the time at which that co-funding from EU Life finishes, along with, of course, our many partners who have made SE Web what it is. For me, there are two important aspects or concepts that come together at this conference. Two issues that I've often talked about and have written a little bit about as well. It was the great psychologist Sigmund Freud who many years ago now said that humankind has faced two great outrages to its self-perception. The first of those outrages was the discovery that we orbit the sun rather than the sun orbiting the Earth. That in fact we're just a small planet orbiting a small sun on the outer edges of a small galaxy. The second great outrage was the revelation by Darwin that actually we're just quite a clever ape, descended from other primates, descended ultimately from the microbial soup that first developed on planet Earth. I think we probably need to add to that the third great outrage of modern times, and that is that we cannot manage the planet. We absolutely depend on ecosystems and natural capital for everything that we do, everything that keeps us alive. And that is nicely, I think, conceptualized as well in, and I pay tribute here to the European Environment Agency again, their model there of sustainable development. Not the usual mind model of sustainable development, which is three overlapping circles with a very small area in the middle, which you can make as small as you like, which you call sustainable development. No, their model is that environment underpins everything. It's essential to have a healthy environment, to have a healthy society, and it's essential to have a healthy society to have a healthy economy. And I think part of the concept of that is that citizens must therefore be informed and be part of the decision-making process using sound evidence and sound understanding of risk in order to determine what future as a society we want, the kind of environment we need and the future that we want to create on the back of that environment. So citizens themselves must be part of that understanding, part of that data collection, part of citizen science. And I firmly believe that if we can get our citizens interested in observing the environment, they'll come to understand the true beauty of that environment, and ultimately they will become guardians of that environment. So I think the rest of today is going to tackle some of those deep conceptual issues. I think it should be an exciting day. I wish the conference very well. The Scotland's Environment Web team will be around all of the day. You can contact them during the breaks or in the workshops for those of you who are here in Edinburgh. For those of us who are following us worldwide, for the global audience, further details and contacts will be provided in order that you too can join in the conversation, can make comments or ask questions. So enjoy the rest of the day. I'm now going to pass you on to Paula Charlson, Head of Environmental Strategy at Sepa, who will act as Master of Ceremonies for the rest of the day. Paula.